Hi, this is Coach World TV. I'm Laurie Lawson, and tonight my guest is Lisa Murrell. Hey, Lisa.
Hello.
I cannot tell you how long we have been planning this. It's like we had a few hurricanes, a few tornadoes, and what else did we have? No power up where she is.
Oh.
Every time we planned something, it was like a disaster. So I'm so thrilled to have her. Lisa is I call her a master coach, and I'll tell you tonight, I'm just learning just how masterful she is. She is the founder and creator of something that got us together, because I couldn't believe she was actually doing, called Equine Alchemy. She's going to tell you all about that. And also Meta Systems Consulting Group.
Right.
Group.
One system.
Okay.
Meta system.
Meta System Consulting Group. Okay. And she's got all these really unique, innovative programs going on. So we're just going to try to find out in the next 28 minutes how creative this lady is. But first of all, Lisa, thank you. And I know it's not easy getting down here. She's up there with a bunch of horses, and that's really cool. And we'll tell you why.
Yes.
But where are you located, actually? What is the name of the town?
I'm up near Woodstock, New York. So I'm a country mouse, and here I am in the big city. TV.
All exciting.
So it's a couple of hours north of New York City.
Is it? Okay. Tell us, first of all, kind of how you got into coaching, and then she's got so many great programs going on. I want to make sure we get all that in. But how did you actually get into coaching?
I was coming off of a career in fashion and modeling, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do next after I was, 30?
Washed out, yeah.
Right, so I went back to school for my undergraduate work in psychology at New York University. And then I kind of stumbled upon a way of, I had to reinvent myself. I had been I'd been this model, I'd been this communicator of sorts with people all over the world, but now I was something different, and I had to figure out what that was going to be. So I kind of came up, actually the coaching reinvention work that I do with people is based on how I went from one career to the next.
Your own experience, really?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd been living in Paris, and there was someone I knew in Paris, and he had a communications consulting firm, and so we were introduced, and that was Meta System. And so he was looking to start a company in the United States, and so he asked me if I would run it and head it. And I just went, oh, goodness from heaven.
I hear reinvention coming.
Yes, and it was another reinvention. And so that was probably in 1992 or 3.
Wow. Yeah, I think Lisa said I was coaching before there even was coaching.
Well, they didn't call it that at all. Not at all.
I think a lot of coaches woke up and went, oh, I've been doing this all along. You mean I can get paid for it, and there's a name for it, which is great. Right. So obviously, all right, well, we don't have to do this in any order, I guess. So talk about conscious reinvention, because that's your newest program, right?
Well, the way that came to be is people were asking me to speak about the work that I do. And as you know, because we just had dinner together and we were talking about everything.
Yes.
And I just kind of went, wow, I've really reinvented myself a few times. And so that's what I began speaking about. And I began working on several books, none of which is just decided to be the one. And I think it's because of this conscious reinvention stuff. But the point is that there were so many things that I wanted to do, and it was always about a conscious evolution of awareness of who I am, of taking the gifts that I'd gotten in one circumstance and way of life and bringing it to the next. And so, whereas I went from I was born and raised on a farm in New Mexico, and then at 19 I moved to New York to be a model. That was strange. And then I went to Paris, and that was even stranger. And then after doing the modeling, then I became a mother, and then this consultant, organization development, and then finally I am now working with horses, as if, it sounds like kind of like a cartoon, but it's not.
No, it's not. I mean, because the horses brought us together, so I'm going to be forever grateful. We were talking, it's funny because I was telling Lisa, and then when she'll tell you a little bit more about conscious reinvention, but I was telling Lisa that it's like, I find now, especially since the game has sort of changed since 2008, and people are looking for jobs and people are looking for careers and what they thought they
Right.
had they didn't, that a lot of people that come to me are looking for reinvention. And she took it a step further and said, well, coaching is in the process of reinventing itself also. Tell me a little bit about that, because I'm still fascinated with that whole concept. It's like, oh.
Right, right. Because I've been coaching for so long, and because I have been coaching leaders at a very, very high level, I'm working with people who've already been there and done that. Right? So, I mean, there are different level coaches, I think, not only for us because of our experience, but for our clients. There's people who are just beginning the journey of having a coach, or beginning their journey in their particular career or area. And then there's those people who are in the middle. And then there's those people who've been there a long time and they're trying to figure out what's next. And each one of those levels requires, I feel, a different kind of coaching. And what I found is that with the very high level of coaching, it was different. What they needed was something different. And about that time, which was, I guess, about 2007.
Just before, yeah.
Right. I had just kind of had it up to here with doing so much corporate consulting. I really felt like I had kind of overcompromised myself and my values by working in the big leagues, and wasn't as present and aware as I really needed to be, because I found myself being really tired rather than nourished and refreshed after working with these people, right? So there was a lot of good work, but I wasn't feeling good. So I said, uh-oh, something's going on here. So I took a sabbatical and I went and studied in Arizona for off and on for a couple of years, and I started studying with horses and learning what it was like to be me. And that was the start of this. And by the way, after that, I mean, we can get into this a little bit more, but in answer to your question, I learned about accessing different parts of myself rather than looking for the answer on the outside, which was exactly what my clients were asking for. These people in high-level positions or entrepreneurs that were at a place where they had been doing what they've been doing very successfully for a long time, and they still wanted a coach. It's because they didn't know what was next. And so the answer was within rather than without. But coaching someone around that is a whole skill in itself.
Okay, well, let's talk about the equine alchemy, and that's the most fascinating thing. She has a horse farm, do you not? Yeah. How many horses do you have?
Well, now I had 3. I used to have 14. No, 3.
Too much.
Plenty for me.
3 is good. And she has managed to combine coaching and the horses together. So tell us, what can we learn from horses, and how do horses?
How does all that work?
How does this work? Yeah. Where did you come up with this crazy idea?
Well, you know, I kind of made it up, but that's what I meant by conscious reinvention. That's, I think, what innovation is. You just, okay, I can do this coaching thing, and I love this horse thing.
Well, let's put it together.
But how does that work together? And
Yes.
so I was able to talk to people and coach people around finding answers within, or at least what their resources were within themselves, right? Rather than looking at something outside. But it's hard to just talk about that. One needs to actually feel it.
It's experiential.
Yeah, it's
Coaching
very
is experience. If you do it right, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very true. And I actually am published on experiential learning, so that was another segue into this.
Okay.
And I decided to ask some of these people, how would you like to have a really unique experience? And these people who I asked had been coaching with me for a long time, so they actually trusted me. This is a big key, because, you know, coaching is really built upon trust. And so I had them come out. I'm in Woodstock. It's only a couple of hours north of the city here. And they spent a couple of hours out there. And what they saw was, in response, they saw the horse's immediate feedback to how they were being. Right? Now, this is really key, because a lot of people say, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do to get there? Right?
Yeah.
Or
Do I bring a
accomplish
carrot,
that.
or yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, of anything.
Oh, okay.
And it's really about, and I'm sure you all have heard this, it's really about how you're being. Right? So there's been a lot of stuff around how you're being these days. Well, we can talk about that a lot, but what does that look like? What does that feel like? And that's what you get from the horses. Immediate feedback. So there's a little bit of background about that, and we were talking about that at dinner. we have our heads, and there's the talking heads, even though we got a lot of us, the rest of us below the table here. There's the heart, the head, and the gut, so to speak. And,
Right.
and those are really three intelligence centers. And there's a lot of really terrific research that has shown that the heart's electromagnetic field is 5,000 times greater than that of the brains in
Wow.
the head. What that means is we're out there interacting with each other before we actually can cognitively process it. I mean, like right now, our field is very close because we're in this very small
Proximity,
studio,
yes,
right?
yes. Mhm.
But I mean, so that is there before even what we're thinking about. You feel
Okay.
someone, you know, when you come into a room. Oh,
Actually, yes, and then you have to adjust your thinking to accommodate what it is you're feeling. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So a lot of this stuff is going on, but it's unconscious. And then there's the enteric nervous system, which is your gut, which is actually there are as many nerve cells in the enteric nervous system as there are in the spinal cord. So
Wow.
what that means is it's kind of on its own. It doesn't even need the head. So from the reptilian brain, long time ago, this is a Cliff Note version.
Okay.
Uh,
That's all we can handle, yes.
We interacted with our environment before we had the neocortex, before we have the cognitive ability to communicate that we have now and process information. We still existed. So when we did finally evolve and develop this neocortex, guess what? This did not go away. It's still there. It's just very unconscious. Back to the horses. The horses don't have the intellectual capability that we do, right?
Right.
They still maintain that ability to sense what's going on in their environment through their hearts and guts. And their hearts are 8.5 pounds. Ours are about 1.25 pounds. And they have hundreds and hundreds of feet of gut because they're animals that are preyed upon in the environment. And anything that's suspicious, that, you know, what they see doesn't match what they're feeling, it's kind of a signal of threat to them.
Give us kind of an example. It's like, how would we know how a horse is reacting? Or how would we know?
Well, say you are with a horse, and what we do this is in an enclosed area, 50 feet, like a circle with a fence around it, and it's called a round pen. And if you go in after preparing and making sure that you're okay to go in, right? I'll go in with you if you need to be. So this is all very volunteer, and it's all on the ground. There's not any riding involved.
Oh.
No hi-ho silvering.
Oh, okay. That will relieve a lot of people, including
Yes,
me.
and sometimes you don't even have to go out of into the ring at all, but that's a whole other level
It's a
of
whole other
communication.
deal, yeah.
Right? So say you go in and really most people, Laurie, want to have the horse come up to them.
Sure.
They want to connect, but
Wanna
that's like
pat
humans,
the horse,
right?
and yeah.
We want people to like us. We want people, even if we don't want them to pat us, we want people to like us. We
Yeah,
want
no-
people to say yes.
No padding. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
It's like coaches, yeah. When we're doing our business and all of our marketing efforts and everything, we want people to say yes. I understand what you're offering, and I want to come and join you, and,
Right.
and begin that coaching relationship. It's a very similar metaphor when you go into this round pen with the horses. However, what we find out is that how we are on the outside does not always match how we are on the inside. Like, we may think we're masters. Like, you may think I feel very relaxed here. Well, I actually do. But sometimes maybe I'm very, very nervous inside, right? Well, the horse would sense that because they'd think, should I stay or should I go,
Yeah,
right? Because their fight or flight reaction is very strong. So if I walk into that round pen and I'm acting like, I'm fine, I can do this. I know nothing about horses, but I can do this. I said I could do this. There's all my colleagues out there watching me. I can do this. And I'm smiling, and the horse, if you're not really feeling that way, is not connected to you. They feel either one, there's some kind of a threat because what they see is not matching what they feel or sense, or they just don't feel any connection at all. So, excuse me, I'm I'm sorry. I've had this thing all
Live
week.
television.
Yes.
I know she was sick yesterday, and it was like, no, but she came. We love her. Thank you.
I'm very
So we'll let her cough as much as she
I know,
wants. Yes.
I probably should cover here, right? So what this would look like is the horse just not connecting with you. They're not coming over. No patting.
Mm-hmm.
No acknowledgement at all.
So that's probably like. There's a cough drop.
I know, I'm going to take it in.
That's probably like, you know, when we always hear, and I know when, and I can only, this is embarrassing, I can only relate to horse riding as like the pony rides where they ride you around in the circle. That's about it. That's my experience as a horsewoman. But they say, okay, a horse can sense fear. And you go, okay, well, how do I not be? And they go, well, no, don't let him know. So in your head, you go, okay, I'm not afraid, but your legs are quivering and or whatever, or you're just, you know how you act when you're afraid of someone. So I guess what you're saying is, and it just occurred to me, it's like they've been telling us that for years. Horses can sense fear, so they're going to know if you're afraid. So you're telling me that if I walk in and I'm going to smile, because I smile at everything, whether it's true or not. But so if I walk in and smile and go, "Hi, horsey," he's going to know if I'm just trying to, you know, cover up whatever I'm feeling. So are you telling me that he's sensing not what I'm consciously doing, but what I'm subconsciously doing? Really?
Thank you for saying that.
Wow.
It really is. I say that horses make conscious for us that which is unconscious, because they just naturally connect to that part of us below our necks.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're putting out first. Because we experience our lives, ourself, each other, through the heart and the gut before we process it cognitively.
That's an amazing way, really, because I can't think of anything right now except maybe electroshock that could actually break down the subconscious that quickly and put you in touch with it. Can you, or is this the best way?
This is the only way I know. And the reason why it's so important for coaches is because we need to know how we can be fully present so that we can really be fully present for our clients. And we can't be, I was saying to Laurie, it's kind of like we're two different radios, right? Our clients and us. And if my signal's turned off, you know, like when you're sitting on the airplane and you don't want anybody to talk to you.
Right. And you can actually, yeah, you're right. You can manipulate that. Yeah, I'm amazed. Okay, you're selling me more and more. Go ahead.
But we do this unconsciously.
Yeah.
And not even knowing. So the key here, first of all, is you're finding out about this, right? And then if you experience it with the horse, the immediate feedback is irrefutable. Irrefutable. And it's immediate. And then you can begin to become aware of the differences that you might be feeling and what you're putting out there. And you can ask yourself the question, how do I create congruence? And am I actually getting in the way of what it is that I'm trying to create in my life?
Well, now, are you saying that the horse would respond to me even if I walked in like, oh my God, horse, I'm so afraid of you? Because that would be a genuine feeling, as opposed to a cover-up where I'm trying to...
Absolutely.
So then them telling me the horses sense fear is no good, because then I'm pretending I'm not afraid. So
they don't understand.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you?
Right. And I mean, think about it. If you come in, well, this has been my experience, so I don't know if it's been yours. If I come in as an expert in any situation, I'm already starting off on the bad foot. However, regardless of how much I know or don't know, if I go in, and I genuinely feel this, because this is generally what I do. When you said, how did you come up with this? And I said, I made it up. I mean, it's true. I have to be completely genuine. And say, you know, I do know these things, and I don't know that I have your answers. But what I can do is create a space for us to explore the questions and support you to come up with your own answers.
She made it up, and she calls it horse sense. I love it. I absolutely love it. Tell us some of the other programs you have. Now, the way, and what I was so impressed with is leadership development. Is that what we're calling it?
Right. Well, no, there's one that's about leadership, because as herd animals, horses have to have a leader. They don't really care who it is. But the reason why they have to have a leader is because they need to know what their role is. They need to know what they are supposed to be doing.
Right.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Sure.
So they don't have any ego involved. They're just trying to create an order, right? So I've had several leaders come up who have been not very good people. Well, they weren't very good horse people either, because there was this real need to. When I say come from the gut, I mean your power. I don't mean, I mean power versus force. It's a very big difference. People don't usually react very well to force in any situation. But I find that we all like to embrace power, whether it's your power or my power. It's very genuine, and we don't feel threatened as much by power as we do by force.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Right?
Yeah.
So they get to learn a lot about the difference in leadership between power versus force. And I think that's one of the biggest differentiating factors of a leader that people really want to follow, and the efficacy of their leadership is how people embrace their power, and not how they're wielding it, how they're embracing it. And then other people can join on. And one of the things we do is a leading exercise. And so there's a horse and there's a lead rope, and we actually lead them around from a state of the mind, the heart, or the gut. And you can see this difference in each experience. Again, immediate feedback. So that's something that I do with organizations, teams, leaders, individuals.
But if you go, now tell them what your website is, because if you go to her website, is this the one where you can take the assessment? And then, okay, so tell them first how to get to your website, and then we'll tell them about the assessment.
Okay. www.equinealchemy, EQUINEALCHEMY.com. And one of the things that I invite people to do is there's a really cool assessment there. It's called TR. What's your TR? Transformation Readiness. Right. Because all of the work that I do, with and without horses, is about transforming your business and your life through transforming yourself. So it all starts with you. So this free assessment is built on all my years of coaching, all my years of leadership development, and it's called a personal leadership assessment. Personal leadership just being how we run our lives. Right. So that leadership that you asked me about before is just as applicable to us personally. I know people say, well, I'm not a leader. Well, you've got your life to run.
And somebody said you're the director of your life. Who else?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So I invite you to go there. Like I said, it's free, and you can sign up for a session for us to talk about it. But it also comes with a free video series that we really get into this unique aspects. Everything about this that I feel is unique, because there's a lot of leadership assessments out there, comes from the horses.
This is really special. And she also has something about shadow coaching. Is it shadow coaching?
Shadow wisdom.
Shadow wisdom, I'm sorry, shadow wisdom, which is really, we're talking on a different level. It's more of a, what are you subconsciously leading with?
Exactly.
And I've taken it, and I'm so amazed. She's got a set of cards that go with it that are so beautifully that you can write a beautiful leather journal. I mean, this woman has got it all together here. But the assessment is free. The cards are not, and nor should they be. They're gorgeous. And you can take that, and the videos series that follows.
Yeah, they come all together. That's all free, complimentary. I love talking about this stuff, as you can tell.
Yeah, and we need another hour. But so www.equinealchemy.com, and if you forget that or didn't have a pencil, then you can contact us at the website there, and we'll hook you up with Lisa. Well, okay, what else can we tell them about?
There's one thing that I'm going to do to make it really easy for you.
Oh, good.
The two biggest ways that I offer this, transforming your business and your life through transforming yourself, And one is the ICF approved coach training program.
Yes, yes.
And the other is which involves working with and without the horses. And the other is the class I call Coaches as Spiritual Warriors, which is all virtual. It's all on the phone. You get CEUs for it.
CEUs, yeah.
Right. And
in fact, the coach training is how many? That's an amazing amount of CCUs.
the coach
right?
training for each module is 24, but the entire one is, I think, 136 or something.
It's amazing.
And
yeah.
for Coaches as Spiritual Warriors, you get 10. But if you go to www.equinealchemy.com/path, PATH, you will have everything you need to look at those 2 ways of working with this work. Or you could just go there and contact me, and we'll have a discussion and see about some conscious reinvention through the way of the horse, is what I call it.
With horse wisdom. I like that.
From horse wisdom, but either with or without the horses.
Right, that's what, because that was what was confusing me. I mean, you can actually go to her farm up near Woodstock, and she has retreats, and some of the training is up there also. But she can also do this on the phone, and it's like, really? But it's like she pointed out, well, as a coach, don't you have to hear what's going on the phone? So.
Right. You can do very powerful coaching over the phone, right?
Absolutely, and most people in America and in other countries, they don't quite understand it, but that's how we do it, is over the phone. So you don't have to buy a horse. You don't have to go up.
Exactly.
You don't have to ride a horse.
You don't have to know anything about horses.
No, she's got the horse wisdom, and she's willing to share it. But so there's a variety. I love the virtual, the online, not online, the on phone, on phone, whatever is it?
Virtual on phone line.
and
that course starts, the Coaches as Spiritual Warriors starts on Wednesday, which is day after tomorrow, the 19th.
Okay.
So if you go to www.equinealchemy.com/path, you'll see the journey of the spiritual warrior.
And how long a course is that?
That is 5 weeks, and each class is about 90 minutes, sometimes 75.
Okay.
And it's an intimate group coaching experiences based on the 10 practices of being on your own journey of transformation. And so we delve deeply into what those practices are and what they mean for you, how they can show up in your coaching, really transforming your life and business through transforming yourself.
And a spiritual warrior, can you give me a quick definition of that before I thank you so much for coming?
I'm so happy. I love doing this.
We've been trying to do this forever, so we're
For
thrilled.
me, spirit is something that is very precious, and it is about my journey. One can define it any way they want to, but it is an inner journey that is the journey of connecting self with everything else around us.
Okay. And a warrior is just
If anything is
on the
good
path.
enough, it's worth fighting for.
There you go.
If you really have a vision and an intention, it's worth being a warrior.
Okay, I'm going to thank you so much and tell you to go to Equine Alchemy and find out this lady has so many creative things going. We are thrilled that you took time out of your schedule to come see us, and I think we're going to have you back because she actually has more going on. Thank you.
Always. It's really nice to see you, and I meant you and you.
Thank you, thank you.
It's an honor.
Thanks.